right, I hope everybody's enjoying dinner. How about another round of applause for the folks who put together the slideshow and the dining staff? And to continue tonight's program, please welcome back the principal of Goffstown High School, Mr. Frank McBride.
Thank you, Mr. D. There's so many talented and caring people at Goffstown High School. We like to try to create as many layers as humanly possible in the community of Goffstown High School. A piece of that would be class advisors. Very, very important job. The 2026 class advisors, how about a little shout out to Miss Megan Klickner and Miss Lindsay Edwards. One of the big goals of tonight, besides bringing people together for one of the few last times to eat food together, be together, share time together, is we like to try to give a few additional seniors a chance to grab the mic and talk and frame a little bit about their unique four-year experience. You're going to hear from some students at commencement on Thursday. You'll hear from me on Thursday. My little framing for tonight would be exceptional class, the class of 2026. Just a few examples. It's not everything. Clearly, there's so many paths you can take. College is a path for some of our students. Never before in my time here have there been so many kids who got into so many elite academic institutions. How about a big round of applause for all those kids and families? While at the same time, and you'll see this on my remarks on Thursday, the amount of kids who are working here, who've started businesses as high school students. We have a pilot in the audience. The amount of kids who are writing books, once writing a trilogy. And again, there's so many opportunities you get. We see it in performing arts, in the arts, in robotics. It just goes on and on and on. But we like to try, again, to provide as many opportunities as humanly possible. In the class of 2026, boy, have they taken advantage of the opportunities provided for them. And before you get to meet some of these great leaders in a minute, I would just share this. There's a few pieces of the end of the year that are really special to me. And one of them typically is when I get to go into the great Mrs. O'Shea's classroom, college comp class, and kids worked all year on their topic, and they work hard, and Mrs. O'Shea pushes them, and they write and they rewrite. And I really enjoy watching the students present their material, and they do such a good job, and they're knowledgeable, and they take questions afterwards. My reason for mentioning it, though, is what I'm most impressed with is how they treat each other. If you could see, and literally, and I always wish I could get into more, but the few times that I was in this year and I saw multiple presentations, the amount of attention and focus and care and support that they provide their classmates is just exceptional. I went briefly to see Mrs. Holly Posen, who was doing a great job in her senior class as well. I wanted to go find, I think I was touching base with James Sisko, who's going to West Point Academy. How about James Sisko going to West Point Academy? And yeah, James. I stumbled upon James talking, and he was talking about his bowling experience and winning an award. But one of the things he said more eloquently than myself was exactly what I just shared, what a community this class has been and how much he appreciated that personally and how successful he thought that or thinks that they will be. And I couldn't concur with that more. So you're going to hear from now Noah Babb and Emma Bird, Mia Brissett, Corey Hall, and Brady McCann. If you could come on up, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the class of 26, thank you for being here tonight as we celebrate everything that brought us to this moment. When we reflect on who we were as freshmen, it's amazing to see how much we've grown. These 4 years have challenged us and brought us together in ways hopefully we won't forget. If there's one thing our class is known for, it's our spirit. We didn't just show up, we came loud and proud, whether it's packing the stands, dominating spirit days, or sweeping homecoming. We made our presence known, and the buzz from the class of 26 during Super Mario battles was unmatched. Shout out JL. That's who we are. We're a class who goes all in.
But our spirit wasn't just about cheering. It came from the incredible range of talent within our class. We have athletes who broke records, performers who brought stories to life, artists who filled our school with beauty and creativity, and leaders who stepped up when it mattered. Our diversity of interests, strengths, and voices is what made us strong. Tonight is also the perfect moment to express our gratitude. To our teachers, thank you for pushing us, supporting us, and believing in us even on the days we were running on caffeine and determination. To our class advisors, Ms. Klickner and Ms. Edwards, thank you for always showing up and for truly being the backbone of every event. To the staff who kept everything running, and to our families who showed up for us, you've truly been the foundation of our success.
We also want to take a moment to honor someone who has shaped our school in innumerable ways, Mr. McBride. We want to recognize the leadership, kindness, and steady presence he has brought to our community. He guided us through change and created a school where every student felt valued. His legacy will live on in the traditions he strengthened and the students he inspired. Thank you, Mr. McBride, for everything. As we look ahead, we know the future is wide open. Some of us are heading to college, some to work, and some are still figuring it out. What matters most is that we move forward with the same spirit that defined our class: the courage to show up, the willingness to support each other, and the confidence to chase what matters. Never forget the kindness you've received, the experiences you gained, and the relationships you've made.
All of our lives are about to get a lot more complicated. Allow us to take a moment to share a poem to remind us of the importance of the simplicities of life. All I Really Need to Know, I Learned in Kindergarten by Robert Fulghum. Most of what I really need to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned in kindergarten. Wisdom was not at the top of the graduate school mountain, but here is in the sandpile on the playground. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and milk are good for you. Take a nap every afternoon. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. When you go out into the world, watch out for traffic. Hold hands and stick together. Wonder. Remember, the little seed in the styrofoam cup. The roots go down and the plant goes up, and nobody really knows how or why, but we are all like that. We've grown, we've learned, and we've built something. Together that will carry with us long after tonight. The future is waiting, and we're ready for it. Thank you.
Now, the Student Council Class of 2026 is proud to reveal its class gift: a 24-inch trophy affectionately named the McBride Cup. Each year, classes will have the opportunity to compete for the cup and earn the honor of having their class named and engraved on it by winning homecoming. And fittingly, after winning the 2026 Homecoming Assembly, our class is proud to be the first engraved on the McBride Cup. This gift was chosen to promote school spirit at GHS and to celebrate our class's remarkable success in pep rallies throughout our time here. We hope the McBride Cup will honor Mr. McBride's legacy for years to come, while inspiring friendly competition, pride, and spirit among future generations of students. While we had hoped to present the McBride Cup tonight, an engraving error has unfortunately delayed its arrival. Although the trophy is not here with us this evening, we are excited to receive it in the coming week and look forward to officially unveiling it to the GHS community. Thank you, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, seniors. To take us into the next piece of tonight's program, please welcome our assistant principal, Mrs. Kimberly McCann.
Good evening. As we transition to the Hall of Fame portion of this evening, I'd like to first take a moment to acknowledge the remarkable efforts of the GTV crew for all of their hard work. Specifically, Emily Van Sickle for producing tonight's video. This group has covered over 200 Goffstown events throughout the school year. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. To the class of 2026, it has been a joy watching you grow. As a mom, I've had the unique perspective, not just of the last 4 years with many of you, but for some, almost 18 years that preceded tonight. Know that we are impressed with your accomplishments, your hard work, your resilience, and your commitment to excellence both in the classroom and the assorted areas of life that bring you joy. Continue to do what you love. Tonight, though, is just the beginning. As you step out into the world, we watch, knowing that you too will forge your own paths and create legacies that will inspire those who come after you. And this is why we choose to include the annual Hall of Fame induction as a part of this evening. In roughly 48 hours, you will join the ranks of GHS alumni. You will be the change makers of the future. We eagerly await the opportunity to welcome you back and celebrate your future accomplishments. The Goffstown High School Hall of Fame was created to honor and celebrate those individuals whose dedication, perseverance, and achievements have left a lasting mark, both within the walls of our educational community and beyond. Past inductees include Broadway musicians, professional athletes, military personnel who have given their lives in service, scientists, authors. When the selection committee met this year, they were both unanimous in their selection and clear in their intent to induct just a single member of the class of 2026, a transformative educational leader who has set a standard of excellence for over 30 years in the Goffstown School District. Please turn your attention to the screen as we take a closer look at the journey, accomplishments, and legacy of this year's Hall of Fame inductee, Frank McBride. I'm Kim McCann. I'm the assistant principal at Goffstown High School. And for more than 30 years, Frank McBride has defined excellence in the Goffstown School District. A visionary leader, Frank built a culture rooted in care, hard work, and high expectations, empowering staff, inspiring students, and uniting the community. Under his leadership, Goffstown High School has become one of New Hampshire's top-performing schools, known not only for academic excellence, but for its strong, supportive culture. He championed major renovations, improved facilities, and ensured a safe, welcoming environment where students can thrive. More than anything, Frank has been the architect of a school community built to last.
Ed Cannon, longtime soccer coach, 30 plus years at St. Anselm College. Frank and I go way back. I was a young man in the 80s when I recruited Frank, who was a student at Trinity High School. He is an outstanding athlete and an outstanding leader on my soccer team. He had a huge impact on his fellow classmates and ultimately the program at St. Anselm. After Frank completed his career as a player, it wasn't too long thereafter that he became an assistant coach and remained with us for several years. He is a wonderful person. The players loved him as a coach. It just showed you later on when he was coaching at the high school level that he was an outstanding individual in that regard.
Hi, I'm Steve Beals. I'm the principal of Alvern High School in Hudson. I've actually known Frank since 1986. I was a St. Anselm soccer player following my freshman year at that school. In the principal circles, Frank and I have been colleagues for 25 plus years as principals at different schools. We've been longtime NHIA council members together. And what I probably remember most about Frank is how lucky he is to have Kim McCann as his assistant principal, but more importantly, how much he values relationships with others, whether that's his family that he talks about all the time. More importantly, in the work world professionally, Frank has been reflective. He is just a person who understands managing personalities is becoming a harder and harder task as schools are becoming harder and harder to administer.
My name is Bill Ryan, and I have had the pleasure of knowing Frank McBride for the past 35 years. Frank made an immediate impact on the John Stark school culture with his easy smile and kind way. Frank's past history as a New Hampshire athlete was very beneficial to our sports program, and especially to me since he took on the JV baseball coaching position. Frank's dedication to all student athletes paid off for everyone. Our planet Earth is a better place with Frank on it. His class and integrity are both a model for everyone to emulate.
My name is Jason Parent. I know Frank because we taught together over 30 years ago at Goffstown High School, coached the Grizzlies. Frank, I appreciate the friendship we've had that's lasted over 30 years. It began with us teaching and coaching together. Again, I've watched you lead Goffstown as the athletic director, assistant principal, longtime principal, and all those years you've been an incredible leader and have taken the school to amazing heights.
Hi, my name is Adam Osborne, and I've known Frank for well over 30 years. We first worked together here at Goffstown High School in the mid to late 1990s. Frank brings a vision and a leadership style to Goffstown High School that people want to be a part of. His leadership has really brought this school and this entire community forward, and he's made an impression on it over the last 30 years that's hard to underestimate.
My name's Pat Corbin, and I was a principal at Nashua High and Salem High over the years. One of the things that struck me about Frank when I first met him, you'd ask a question or he'd be in a meeting, and I'd sit there and wonder, where's he going with this? My God. It turns out he's just a real introspective guy who puts a lot of thought into what he does before he speaks out, and I came to appreciate that and value that to him as a friend, and he has been for many, many years.
Hi, my name is Martha Benton, and I worked at Goffstown High School for 34 years as a teacher, coach, guidance counselor, and guidance director. And in much of that time, I worked closely with Frank. Some of my favorite moments working with Frank were unscheduled and unscripted. Times when he would walk into my office just to run something by me. And in that give and take, I felt valued and respected in a way that I seldom had before. But perhaps the greatest gift Frank gave me, and I'm sure he has done this for many of you, is that he believed in me. He believed in me even when I didn't always believe in myself. When you pour your heart and soul into a place and its people, you become part of the very fabric of that place. Frank will forever be a part of Goffstown High School, and surely his legacy will be simply that he will leave Goffstown High School far better than he found it.
Frank was my freshman year basketball coach, so I met him when I was 14 years old. Little did I know that 34 years later, he'd still be my friend. Frank ended up being my only coach for 4 years of high school, and I learned countless lessons about leadership, commitment, and accountability through a winless season as well as rebuilding a program back to respectability. And those core values I still carry with me to this day. Aside from my own family, nobody has contributed more to helping me reach my full potential, more than the man that I used to call coach, but is now my friend.
I'm Brian Balke. I'm the very proud superintendent of schools, and I've had the good pleasure of working with Mr. McBride for just about 2 decades. What do I say about Frank McBride? Frank McBride is a legend in New Hampshire public education. 25 years as a high school principal, remarkable. Incredible combination of tough, high expectations, caring, sympathetic, incredible man.
My name's Kurt McDermott. 18 years ago, Mr. McBride took a chance on a guy in a Goodwill blazer with an outsized love for the Transcendentalists, and I will forever be grateful for that. He leads with humility and humanity, and he shows us how to do it. I appreciate it.
I'm Randy Lovering. I teach phys ed here at the high school. I've coached here since I've started teaching back in 1997, so I've been here a long time with Frank. Frank is, I consider, a great boss, a really good friend, someone that you can talk to about school or about life. He always leads by example. And the big thing that's popped into me when I was younger is he would be walking down the hall, and if there was a piece of trash or something that needed to be cleaned up, he didn't necessarily call somebody. He would pick it up or clean it up himself. And when you see your leader and your principal doing that, you have a tendency to start doing that as well.
Hey, congratulations from me, Brady, Reagan, Phil, most importantly though from Mom and Dad, reflecting, Dad died almost 10 years ago, and 3 months later you were inducted into the St. A's Athletic Hall of Fame, very well deserved. Now fast forward, just a month ago, Mom passed away, and how proud she is of you. The joke being when you went in, the only picture on the fridge is yours. She'd say, Catherine, if you gave me a picture, I'd put yours up too, but just how proudly she hung your picture up on her fridge. And, and thinking of this next step for you, we reflected, Dad was a great dad. He was an even better grandpa, and how much we loved seeing him as a grandpa. And I just see all of that and what he did for his grandkids, and you with Ellie. So anyone who sees that knows, and how well deserved this next step in your life is. So congratulations from us. Again, I know Mom and Dad are so proud of you and are so happy for you. So well done.
Frank, I wish you nothing but the best in your retirement. I've been fortunate to have you as a friend, and I mean that sincerely. Our profession is better for you. I'm a better person for you, and I wish you and your family nothing but good health and happiness in your retirement. Go, Frank.
Congratulations, Frank, on this Hall of Fame induction.
Congratulations, Frank. This is a well-deserved honor, and everyone is lucky to have you.
Congratulations on the Goffstown High School Hall of Fame. It is well deserved, my friend.
I want to congratulate my friend Frank McBride on being inducted into the Goffstown High School Hall of Fame.
Good luck, Frank. You certainly deserve the recognition. You've given a lot of your life to Goffstown in particular, and Goffstown High School, and well-deserved, and again, best luck in your retirement.
Congratulations, Frank, on this well-deserved honor.
Congratulations, Frank. All the best to you in the next phase of life. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your time with Ellie.
Congratulations, Frank. It's a well-deserved retirement. I hope you enjoy it.
Frank, I wish you well. I hope you enjoy the things that you like to do outside of school, and enjoy your grandbaby, and we'll see you out on the golf course for sure.
Congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame, and thank you for helping me reach my best potential and being a good friend all these years.
I wish the best, and I think the Goffstown Hall of Fame has done a significant and correct choice in putting Frank McBride in their Hall of Fame.
At this time, At this time, it's my honor to introduce the individual who over 20 years ago had the foresight, and some might have said at the time took a little bit of a risk in hiring both myself and Frank to take the helm of Goffstown High School in 2004. Some of us were still just babies. Some of us weren't here. Join me in welcoming Superintendent, mentor, friend, Dr. Darrell Lockwood.
I truly am humbled to be here. As I was driving down, I said, I've got a lot of notes, but I probably could just say what I have to say in a few words. And that is, I was a superintendent for a long time, actually for 10 years in Goffstown. And I would say that the best decision that I ever made was hiring Frank McBride. And that comes from the heart. I know everyone that was in that video, and it was incredible to me to hear the words that were being said and the repetitive words. I actually, and for you seniors who are here, one of the questions you're going to get asked when you interview for your first real job is, name 5 things that describe you. So I actually put down 6, and some of those folks had the same words. I thought about Frank and I said, calm. Now, I will say, he's calm on the outside. He's not always calm on the inside. Resilient. You have to be resilient to be a high school principal. I was a superintendent for 23 years. I will tell you that his job was much harder than my job, much harder. Hardworking, compassionate. He's compassionate about people. And that's why he is as successful as he is. Remember, I said calm, but he's also intense. Frank is always thinking. He's always trying to figure out what the next big thing is. And he's found many of them. And last, I would say loyal. And I'll use an example of loyal that I'm going to take from Ed Cannon. Frank was a heck of an athlete. And when I say loyal, he's a team person. He'll do whatever it takes. As a junior, I think, here at St. Anselm's, he was a midfielder on the soccer field. As a senior, he was a back, a defensive player. He was all conference both years in 2 different positions at the college level. That's a rarity. But that's who Frank is. Frank, I will say, does whatever needs to be done. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history, if I may. You heard some of it up there, but to what I can remember, and I am an old guy, so give me a break. But Frank came first to Goffstown in 1993 as a student teacher at Mountain View Middle School. Later in the spring of that year, he took a long-term substitute position at Mountain View Middle School. The following year, oh, by the way, we were the Redskins then. We weren't the Grizzlies. That's how far back that goes. The following year, he went to John Stark. And I don't know if you saw the picture of him when Mr. Ryan was speaking, but that was Mark Roth, who was sitting in the middle. Mark Roth at the time was the principal at John Stark. Frank went there as an alternative education teacher. So he was now not only a Redskin, but he was a general as well. And he was coaching baseball over there. At the same time, he was coaching basketball at Goffstown. The following year, he came to Goffstown, and he became a social studies teacher in 1994. And for the next 5 years was in the social studies department. After that, I guess I came in 98. And somehow, a lot of things were going on then. I don't know if you know the name Al DeRusso, but Al DeRusso was the athletic director, part-time athletic director at the time. And we decided, as Frank replaced Jim as the assistant principal, we also decided to make him the athletic director because he didn't have enough to do. So for the next 3 years, he served as not only the assistant principal, but also the athletic director. And man, that was a time of change. For you seniors, I'll give Al DeRusso credit, and actually Michael Turcott, if you know that name. They brought hockey to Goffstown, I think in 98, 99. Football didn't exist. I can't remember if volleyball, I don't think boys volleyball existed. We probably, let me see my notes. Wrestling didn't exist. Lacrosse didn't exist. Unified and adaptive did not exist. All things changed. All things changed. While he was assistant principal and athletic director, we decided that we were going to do a renovation here in Goffstown, and the community was kind enough to fund that. But at that time, we had no place else for the students to go. So for the next few years, it's actually over a couple of years, we spent in total renovation, moving kids around, and you can just imagine the assistant principal, he's the person, Kim, person who makes things run on a daily basis. He did that, and he was the athletic director for part of that time. Just incredible. The other thing we didn't have is athletic fields. And I'm looking at Mr. Gross over here, and you folks have a fabulous football and multi-sport field now with turf. Back in the day, behind the high school, there was a field, but if you fell, you were going to rip up your knees in the rocks, and it just wasn't the same. Thankfully, we had an in because we had somebody who worked for us who had a connection here at St. Anselm. So we got to come here to play baseball sometimes when we were in the tournaments, and other sports, which was great. So now he's the assistant principal. He's working with, well, let me back up. He's about to become the principal, which was in 2004. So you heard some different numbers up there, but again, I'm the old guy, so I may be wrong, but I believe he's been the principal for 22 years. I think he was an interim principal for a half a year. The gentleman Mark Roth that I mentioned, he was a principal, and I would say he was one of Frank's mentors. Ed Cannon, another mentor. But Mark was here for 4.5 years. Mark changed the culture as well of Goffstown High School as well. I think he changed the culture of SAU 19. He was a very philosophical man. But again, Mark was a guy who sat back. Frank was the guy that was out there doing the work on a daily basis. And he did an incredible job. So Mark decides in January of 2004, he's going to retire. So that's when we gave the nod to Frank and made him the interim principal. So for those of you who have worked your whole lives and you've taken different positions, imagine being the interim principal of a school and also being a candidate for the same job. So other people who come in, they come in, it's a dog and pony show, and they tell you all the wonderful things. Frank's there every day. I mean, we're judging him on his work product. And he had a tough time. As I said, high school principal is the toughest job, I think, in education, maybe other than being a kindergarten teacher. But he did a great job. And I decided to nominate Frank in the summer of 2004. And that became I guess, the legacy that you folks are now enjoying today and celebrating. He's done an incredible job. As I started out, best decision I ever made was asking him to be your high school principal. I have some other notes as well. When you come to these things, you have to recognize some history. When I say that he's been a principal for 22 years, I started working in SAU 19 schools in 1976, so I have a long history here. I know that Bob Moulton was a high school principal at Goffstown High School for many, many years, but not 22. I know that Bill Marston was a high school principal here for many, many years, but not 22. So going back as far as I can remember, he's not only been a wonderful principal, but he's also been the longest sitting principal at Goffstown High School that I know of, which in itself is a legacy. But I've gone on too long, which I tend to do when I talk. But I did want to give you some of that history for Frank. And Frank, congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you, Dara. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Hall of Fame inductee Frank McBride.
Thank you so much. A promise, I will keep this as brief as humanly possible, and I look forward to getting it back to the class of 2026. I do want to say a few thank yous, though, if I can. And a big theme tonight will be for me is that I think you got to get lucky in life sometime, and I'm a very, very lucky Irishman. I'll give you a few reasons why. And Catherine, thank you for your words, my sister. I was fortunate to have the best mom and dad ever, and I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have until I became an educator, and I didn't understand that many, many, many kids did not have what I had, which was that I just got to wake up every day and food on the table, and we weren't rich by any stretch of the imagination. I could do what I wanted to do, and I never had to worry about a thing. And I didn't understand that. I sure didn't understand what as a young coach, how complex other people's lives could be. And I sure learned it in education. But again, a huge shout out to my mom and dad, who are the best. My family is special. I have a lot of them right here in front of me. A huge thank you, if I could, to my wife, Deb. So back to lucky. In 1994, I'm in Mrs. McCullough's room 208. And in 209, Mrs. Lucia's room was Deb. And we met. And we've been together for 32 years since. So, and again, lucky, and back to my best decision in my life. Before I get to my two beautiful daughters, is that Ed Cannon, St. A's, was a great mentor. I'm a first-generation college kid. My father was a union laborer. My mom stayed at home. I did not understand some of the complexities of. I went to college because I was supposed to go, and I wanted to play soccer. So then I came here with Monica and others, and I learned how to be a student, and I learned a lot of things. But Ed Cannon. Fast forward a few years, when I was a young teacher, he said, you should get your degree because life's going to get more complicated. And that was nothing. It was not even a thought in my head that I should be getting a degree. I'm like, I got a nice job. I'm coaching. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. And he said, you should get a degree. And Daryl gave a little history. Back then, you had to go to get a degree in person. There was no online stuff. Basketball was super problematic because it crossed into first semester, second semester. I was lucky, Notre Dame College, not Brady's Notre Dame College, but Manchester Notre Dame College was still open. And I went back, got my degree, and literally when I coached my last basketball game, because life was getting more complicated, Parker, our oldest, beautiful, with her beautiful husband, Austin, Deborah was pregnant when I coached my last game. We got thrashed by a really good team in the championship. We did get to the championship, a great group of kids. Brady was better than us. But anyways, super lucky that Ed put that seed into my thought process. I was fortunate. I had to give up basketball because I couldn't do it with the 2 semesters, but I was still at St. A's coaching men's soccer with Ed. I was able to do that for 7 years. And again, I go back to, we had a little Parker at the time, and then Peyton soon thereafter, and I was off teaching, coaching, and doing everything. And Deb has done so much always. And then she was an unbelievable English teacher. She gave that up to be home full-time with Peyton and Parker. And then from that point on in our life, it was Deb and the girls. That was what I always called it, and it was Deb and the girls. And clearly, there are people now like Kim and others who can do both. I don't know how you do it. I was fortunate to just be able to go. Deb would laugh at me at times, like I could get showered and go, and she had to fight, the 2 kids and all that came with it. But I could not have done what I've been able to do without the support. So again, huge thank you to my beautiful family. I mentioned passing. I'm not going to pass out. It's just as I get older, and this is part of the retirement. I just like to take a moment. It is way too dangerous to try to name names because there are so many names. But I can tell you, and it's been said a few times, to say that I'm lucky that Kim was given, won the seat of assistant principal. And I have never, ever been the principal of Goffstown High School without Kim McCann as the assistant principal. And I've never made, and again, I've said it, some of you have heard it too many times, some of you are hearing it for the first time, scary as hell when she had 2 children. So she took maternity leave. It was a horrible time for me personally. When she took maternity leave, we were flying solo kids. It was not pretty. I can tell you. But it's funny. Deb said to me, like, she had questions at time about this event, and she texts Kim, and you get it back in like 3 seconds. It does not matter when it is, what day, what time of day. And for me, since I've been the principal here, it has been with Kim. So again, a huge thank you and congratulations. And back to just being lucky, and I mentioned it with my parents. Short. Mr. French is in the audience here, Dave French. Back in the day when you grew up, there was not all these travel sports. They weren't there. And I was a kid 24/7. That's all I did. Should have read more books. I'm still trying to overcome that. But that's what I did all the time. And in the very first experience I can remember, it was the upper elementary school, which is by the SAU. It's the I call it a retirement building now. It's got some name to it. But your first access to play a sport was pillow polo. Do you even know what that is? Anyone know what it is? Look it up when you go home, guys. Yeah, but you run around. It's like hockey. But anyways, so many good human beings. And for me, and for so many kids growing up, it was Dave French, it was Ken Perkins, and it was his wife, Betty. And that's how we were exposed. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. French. And I thank you. I'll wrap up with this thought, though, is that too dangerous. Kim's the only one I can mention. I have so many people. You saw some of them there. I like the daily encounters of being with people. That is what I think I will miss most. My wife would often say when she stopped teaching, I miss the kids. I can assure you I will deeply miss the kids. I will deeply miss my colleagues. I will deeply miss the small conversations that were so meaningful over the years. I've been so fortunate to have this opportunity, and this is probably something I'll mention in my graduation speech. Daryl Lockwood on one end, Brian Balke on the other end. There was only one in between. In Stacy Buckley, again, a very, very good superintendent as well. I've only had 3 superintendents. That's unheard of. When you talk about stability, it's unheard of. And all three of them let us do our job. We were never, ever once micromanaged. And I should give a shout out too as well. And I would say the same for the Goffstown School Board. And you can look and see all the time, there's so much stuff in the paper and what have you. We are not perfect here in Goffstown, in New Boston, and I do miss Dumbarton still, the community that we have here. But I think we've done a really, really good job of keeping a pocket of sanity where we treat each other with regard and respect. And it's just a dignified place to work and grow together. And I am deeply fortunate. I could not be more honored to receive this award. And I'll reiterate what I mentioned before. There's been unbelievable classes here at Goffstown High School. The class of 2026 is as classy, as driven, as, you know, they've done so much. And it's really, I feel honored to be able to go out with the class of 2026. So I will be at plenty of games, plenty of theater shows and what have you. Ellie and I, we're traveling. That is the plan. If you're wondering what we're going to do, we're going to hit every park in New England. We're starting just local first, but we're going to go and climb and play and do all sorts of fun stuff. Thank you so much for this honor. I look forward to tomorrow at Barnard Park. Go and have fun tomorrow, right? We're going to have fun at the senior, what do we call it, guys? Senior Palooza. Let's go have fun at the Senior Palooza. A reminder, in case Mr. D, I don't know how this closes up, is that seniors, we want to see you too, 8 a.m., right? Where are we? We're there, right? That's the direction. Kim's always right. This way. We're at the hockey arena for graduation. We want to see you at 8 a.m. As she said, in case you don't read the email, can be cold and sometimes in there. It's a hockey rink, so dress with layers. Can't wait for Thursday, and we can absolutely not wait. And we do, if you don't know this, 7 o'clock sharp, we kick off. As soon as the Verizon turns to 7, we kick off. And we do typically do a spectacular 1 hour and 29-minute graduation. You can time that, I promise you. But thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks again to everybody who participated this evening. Special thanks to Dan Filer and Lexi Courier. And very good.
Senior Palooza, 11 o'clock, sorry. 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah. Just to follow up to what Mr. McBride said, tomorrow's Senior Palooza event at Barnard Park starting at 11. And an email that came home from Mrs. McCann today. Parks and Rec has been able to open the pool. So if you prepare, show up with sunscreen and your suit, the pool's open at 12:30. 12:30. All right. So, and again, Thursday morning at 8 a.m. for breakfast at the Sullivan Arena. Stick around for a little bit, finish your dessert, take some pictures over at the backdrop. Thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing the evening with us. Have a good evening.